Hello everyone, welcome to my guide to prank kids. Everything you need to know about prank kids in Duel Links is here. Prank kids is an archetype that focuses on three things: fusion, link summon, and being mischievous little guys. It's an archetype that have like some amount of play in the TCG from when it was good. I'm gonna talk about that later. So I think I'm in a good position to tell you all about it. Cards. So the three main prankings that we're getting are Lampsies, Dropsies, and Fansies. All of them are a different typing and different level, but they do have a shared effect. They all float into another kid when they use this fusion or link material for the summon of a prank kid monster, and they do something else as well. Lampsies is gonna burn your opponent for 250 because this is dual links. Dropsies is gonna heal you for 1000 life points. And Fancies is gonna send a pranked card from the deck to the graveyard. Needless to say, all of them are to be played with 3 copies each. Prankid's place is the archetypal field spell. It searches a Prankid on activation. If it resolves, I mean if it gets MST'd, you don't get the search actually. And you also have some like attack modulation effects that come up sometimes, but are mostly there for chain blocking stuff like, you know, Skullmeister and the likes. I think it's a good card. I think playing 2 to 3 of each increases your odds of opening a Prankid, which is what you want actually. Prankid's Prank is a pretty interesting continuous spell. It makes a body in exchange for discarding a Prankid card. Any Prankid card can be another Prankid prank, you know? And it recycles too. During your end phase, you can shuffle any Prankid card in your deck in order to draw a card, which would be good for drawing deck if we are playing any. More on that later. In the context of dueling specifically, I think this card is a 3-off, so you can ensure that you're always going to have 2 Prankids available, even if one is a token that you're just going to use for link summons. Prankid's Pandemonium is the archetypal fusion spell. It's a quick play that you can activate during your main phase only, kind of like Ultimate Fusion or more fusion spells that I can think of. It's not once per turn, that's very important to note, but it does lock you into Prankids, which is less important to note, I guess. This one is definitely going to be played at 3 copies. Prankid's Plan! It's just too slow. Don't play it. Onto the extra deck monsters! Prankid Doodle-Doo is the first that we're going to be talking about. It's a link to that searches any Prankid's back row card on summon and can tribute itself in order to add 2 Prankid cards back to your hand. That includes back row that you can send with Fancies, for instance. I think this one's a safe 2-off. Like, the extra deck in Duel Links is pretty tight. 2 is a good number. Prankid's Bawa Bark is the second link monster of this archetype. This one can tribute itself also, but at quick effect and during your opponent's turn, which is pretty good. It also gives your Prankids protection from effect destruction for the rest of the turn, which is pretty useful actually. I don't know if you knew that. This one you could play in 1 or 2 copies, depending on how much space you have in your extra. Think like 2 is a safe number. Prankid's Rocket Ride is the first fusion of the archetype. On summon, it loses attack, so you can chain block the effects of Skullmeister. That's basically all it does. It can also tribute itself to special Prankid's monsters from the graveyard with different names, which actually comes in pretty handy. This one, 1 to 2 copies is fine for this card. Again, depends on your extra deck space. Last but not least, Prankid's Battle Butler is the boss monster of the archetype. It's a triple fusion that requires Lampsies, Dropsies, and Fansies. It can quick effect tribute itself to Raigeki your opponent. It's not a joke, it's kind of like a better Citadel in that regard. Well, better is arguable. And also, if it's sent to the graveyard, but say Dingirsu or something, it just floats into a non-fusion Prankid, which can be one of the links that tribute itself. It's pretty cool. This one I think is a 2-off. In the context of dueling specifically, it's a 3000 body. It's kind of big, it does a lot of damage. It's pretty cool. Prankid combos! Hey, it's McLeod again. I'm going to show you some Prankid combos. Note that the list before your very eyes isn't like a definitive list or anything. It's just a list that I cooked up. Just quickly thinking about it. There's probably many ways to optimize and make this list a lot better. You'll notice that we're playing a total of 6 fusion spells and 11 kids, including the 2 places. That's because I want to make sure that I open at least 2 kids and a fusion spell or the pranks, which is going to be super helpful in order to get our play started. So let me just show you what this deck can do. So for instance, in this scenario, we opened 2 kids but no fusion spell, but we did open pranks. So what we can do is just activate pranks. Pranks is going to send another pranks because we can to create a token. Then we're going to normal either of the 2 kids, it's fine, doesn't really matter which. Then we're going to go for Doodle-Doo, Prankid's Doodle-Doo, which is going to trigger a chain of effects. First, we want to activate the Dropsies, followed by the Doodle-Doo. Why are we doing this in this order? It's because we can chain block effects like Skullmeister from happening. If your opponent has an effect Veiler, they're going to be able to effect Veiler this anyway. But if your opponent only has like an effect negation, like say a Crystal Wing or something, it's probably better to negate the field effect than the graveyard effect. Or if you have a Crystal Wing, you probably lose the game anyway. But anyway, we're going to get the Pandemonium added to our hand. Dropsies is going to heal us and then flip into any other Prankids. Let's link Lampseeds for this example. And we're going to link these two up into Bawa Bark, which is going to trigger our Lampseeds Engrave, deal some damage, and then special summon a Fancies from our deck. And we set one, and that's basically the end of our turn. On our opponent's turn, we are going to be able to activate Pandemonium, chaining the Bawa Bark in order to special the Lampseeds and the Dropsies, in order to go into Battle Butler. We could use materials in hand for this, doesn't really matter. We can put the Battle Butler here, and all three of our Prankids are going to activate and float to summon something else, do a little bit of burn damage, and do a little bit of healing too. And none of these can be destroyed by card effect thanks to Bawa Bark's effect, and this is basically a Citadel Quick Effect Raigeki, so that's pretty good. Okay, so we technically opened two Prankids with different names thanks to place, and a Polymerization thanks to King of the Swamp, so we're just gonna pitch King of the Swamp, get Poly. While we playing King of the Swamp over a third Poly, to thin our deck, basically. That's the only reason. And sometimes it comes up, like, for like, Battle Butler, very specifically. I'm gonna add, let's say, Lampseed here. And we're gonna Polymerization for Rocket Ride. I'm gonna put the Rocket Ride here. Once again, we are going to use our kids' effects as Chainlink 1 and Chainlink 2. You know what? We can Rocket Ride as Chainlink 3 just to look like a Skullmeister or a Fallen Strike Bounder that our opponent just has in their hand that they can activate turn 0. You don't know. This could happen. Maybe if Hatch gets added, this becomes relevant, you know? Anyway, we're gonna go, probably another Lampseeds. Link these two up into Doodle-Doo. Doodle-Doo is going to be our last chaining here. First, we're going to activate the Fancies, then the Doodle-Doo. And like I said before, if your opponent has an Ash Blossom here, I mean an Effect Veiler here, it doesn't really matter anyway, does it? We can send the Pranks here, and we're going to special drop these. Then we are going to tribute the Doodle-Doo in order to get the Pranks, and I guess we're getting Lampseeds back to our hand, and then we are going to tribute the Rocket Ride in order to special Fancies and Lampseeds back to our field. We can activate the Pranks in order to shuffle a couple of our bad boys in the graveyard. Like we can shuffle all three of them back in the deck to draw a card, which would be good if we had the room to play some tech, but I don't think we do at the moment. But still, it recycles your deck and draws you a card for next turn. And then, of course, we have the Pandemonium to fuse into Battle Butler and float into another 3 Pranks, which is pretty good. Even the get of this end, like being full of spells, I think you can still like combo up. Like we had any Prankids, let's say it's gonna be Fancies. Activate Pranks. Pranks is gonna pitch Pranks. Also special a token. We're gonna normal the Fancies. We're gonna go to Doodle-Doo. Once again, Fancies is going to pitch something, and Doodle-Doo is going to get us some other thing. Note that Pandemonium isn't once per turn, so you can technically activate several times. So I'm just going to get another Pandemonium here. What am I going to send to the graveyard? Maybe I'm going to send a Lampseeds and float into a Dropsies. That seems very fun. Then we can... I can either tribute this or I can go for the Bawa Bark. Let's go for the Bawa Bark, because this is going to get us the Lampseeds that we are missing. And then during opponent's turn, we can tribute this, get back the Dropsies and the Fancies, and go into Pandemonium number 1. Then when with Pandemonium, we're going to be able to summon another 3 Prankids, and Pandemonium Fusion spell number 2 is going to be able to summon another Battle Butler. Additional tech cards. So if you've seen, we can be playing King of the Swamp in order to get access to Polymerization super easily, but King of the Swamp also enables you to go into Nuclear Fusion more reliably, considering that, you know, King of the Swamp can just become any Prankid's name for the summon of Battle Butler, but then you're not going to get the Prankid's, you know, floating effect, and that you can't recycle them either, so that's, yeah, not the greatest idea. One of the decks that was played in a TCG for a short while, like when Prankids, before the good Prankid cards came, was playing Alistair and the Invoked package in a way as a way to easily get a fusion spell and a fusion boss, but considering that Cositus is banned and the Wind Invoked monster is not in the game, the only thing you can go into is Purgatrio, which can help you close out games. I don't know if it's that good though. And last but not least, because Bawabak gives you effect destruction immunity for the rest of the turn, you can tech in Needle Sealing, but you'd have to, hard draw it, which you can do with Pranks, but then if you do it with Pranks, you can set it because it's your end phase. However, with Pranks, you can play end traps like Effect Veiler, DD Crow Skullmeister, Ghost Mourner and stuff, but then you make your deck a little bit less consistent, and I don't know if this is the greatest idea. Maybe it's worth trying though. Missing cards. Prankids Roxy's is the 4th Prankids monster. It's a level 4 rock monster, and when it's used as a fusion or link material, it banishes a card from your hand and then allows you to draw 1 card before it specials a Prankids from hand or deck. Which, is super useful, allows you to play back row more reliably because it's not an issue in your hand, and maybe we'll get in the trader? I'm coping. Prankids Meow Meow Moo is the really good Prankid card that is banned in the TCG to this day. It makes every single Prankids monster a 1-card combo, considering that, you just link it up into Meow Meow, it floats, and then you can make some Link 2 plays. Also, it can banish itself in your graveyard in order to replace the tribute effect of a Prankids monster, like say, Battle Butler, so you can use Battle Butler twice, because it's not once per turn. This guy's just insane. It was the 1 card that made this archetype really, really good. Maybe we'll get in the card trader as a limit 1, please, Konami. Prankids Weather Washer is the other fusion monster this archetype has. This one can also quick effect tribute itself during your opponent's turn, basically like Bow Wow Bark, but instead of effect destruction, it gives battle destruction protection, which I guess it's kind of relevant as well. This being said, I can understand why Konami isn't giving us this one. It's because it would make games last way too long, probably. And Konami hates cards that can be stall cards and good at the same time. And last but not least, Rip Roaring Roaster is the archetypal boss monster that's a Link 4. And it's a quick effect RP's Feather Duster. It just destroys all back row as a quick effect, which is insane. It also retrieves a non-link Prankids monster when it's removed from the field, which I'm sure this effect has come up like once or twice in my entire life, but I can't remember it ever being relevant. I can't tell you if we're getting. I think no, but I can't tell you for sure if we're getting this one ever. Is this deck going to be good? Probably not. The issue with Prankids is that we're in a metagame where we tend to have a lot of graveyards and combo deck hate at the moment, and Prankids is a combo deck that relies on the graveyard a lot, so that's not going to be really good for you. Although it does play super well against Ice Dragon's Prison specifically. Prankids have a lot of good things going for them. They're super cheap to build and to assemble. You basically only need 2 to 3 runs of the upcoming mini box in order to build the deck optimally. It's pretty resilient, all things considered, considering that all of your Prankids body floats, and a lot of them just tribute itself to make more guys that floats, and you can recycle your stuff. That's a pretty solid strategy. And it's super, super, super fun to play. You're just messing around with little fellas. What more can you ask for? But on the other hand, it's one of these decks that's super easy to disrupt, like a Book of Moon on your normal when you rely on pranks to work is going to stop you. A Skullmeister can mess up your day, a DD Crow can somewhat mess it up as well, and then your game plan is just, let's make a big Raigeki and hope my opponent doesn't, kaiju it or force it early with a Book of Moon. I don't know if it's that consistent, Because we want to play a deck that is as consistent as possible, we can't afford to play a lot of deck. Like every effect veiler that you draw that's not a Prankis that you can use as fusion or link material or a fusion spell is going to be handicapping you in the long run. So that's kind of an issue for the deck as well. And last but not least, it's a deck that's not that easy to play, but doesn't have the greatest payoff either for how difficult it can be to pilot optimally, especially compared to stuff like blue eyes, you know?
More like glue eyes.
Anyway, that's it for my assessment of the deck. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this was helpful to you. Are you looking forward to playing Prank Kids in Duel Links? Let me know in the comments. I know that I am for sure, regardless of whether the deck is good or bad, but I hope it's going to be better than I think though. Thanks once again for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I have a Ko-fi page in the description of my video you can donate money to if you want to help me out financially. And I'll see you all next time.